It all started 300 years ago with the discovery of the Black Marker, an alien artifact found under the old Gulf of Mexico on Earth. It seemed to hold the promise of limitless energy until it produced dementia, insanity, and a twisted life after death known as necromorphs. The details of the original Black Marker disaster were buried in cover-ups and conspiracies, but not before an entire religion could be launched in the name of one of its researchers, Michael Altman. His questionable death turned him into a martyr, and unitology was born. To this day, it thrives. A secretive organization that believes the markers are divine, and their plan for us, a glorious unity of mind, body, and spirit. Generations after the Black Marker disaster, mankind found himself going extinct from lack of resources. Desperate, he sought to replicate the Black Marker in an attempt to harness its limitless energies for himself. The records of this era are unclear, but we now know the replication was successful, but the cost too high. The marker copies were all buried, hidden in secret places across the universe where, to all our benefit, they might have stayed. But 200 years later, during an illegal mining operation on Aegis 7, the planet cracker USG Ishimura unearthed one of the forgotten copies, a red marker, and with it, the start of a new wave of marker infections. A key survivor of that incident was an engineer named Isaac Clarke. That marker spoke to him and left him with a gift, a mental blueprint of the marker itself. Isaac was captured and tortured by EarthGov, his mind harvested for the marker's secrets. The marker program was thus restarted, and a new one built on the populous Titan sprawl. But disaster quickly followed. He managed to escape, but just barely. There was nothing left but dust, just like Aegis 7. Since that time, the marker crisis has only deepened, and Isaac Clarke, his marker-touch mind still burning with the ability to build or destroy them, stays in hiding, determined to retreat from the markers and all they have wrought. But there is hope. A backwater ice ball of a planet, where 200 years ago, someone, somehow stopped a marker uprising in its tracks. A clue from the past that may save our future.
Hello, this is Mum's Making Waffles, and this is a Let's Look At of Dead Space 3. You're currently joined by Ash and Glen.
Yep, we are here with the third-person survival horror, which is available on the PC, the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3 for £39.99.
It's currently the third instalment of Dead Space.
Highly anticipated.
Yes.
It's developed by Visceral Games and is published by Electronic Arts, or EA as it's more commonly known.
Commonly known as, yeah.
It was released in the UK today.
This morning.
Yep, this
Very
morning.
early this morning. I'm very tired. I would like to go back to bed.
And I've heard it's a direct PC port. A direct PC port?
No.
It's directly ported to the PC.
Yes.
However, when you hit your settings and you look at your visual settings, you have a custom mode. And in the custom mode, you have a lot of options for something that is supposedly a direct port. Certain things that I don't even know what they are, such as SSAO, and so on.
Gloom and bloom and blur.
Gloom and boom.
Gloom and bloom, fairly, or glow and bloom, fairly straightforward, but...
Nice and vague.
SSAO, yeah. Vague, very vague.
A bit vague.
A lot of testing may need to be done just to get an idea of what they do.
Yeah. And you also, once in-game, you also have a little achievement section.
Everybody's favourite
It does have all your bog standard achievements.
Yeah, the usual.
After all the hidden.
The usual. Completed on difficulties, that sort of collection.
Yeah, collection.
Stuff.
All those kind of bits. The usual bits. You know, there's also a achievement to complete all of the co-op and bits like that. So for the achievement hunters out there, you're going to have to play solo campaign as well as
Co-op, and you've got a lot to do.
yeah.
There's a lot to do.
Not too much, not too much.
Keep you occupied for a couple of weeks. Any hardcore players, a couple of weeks.
Easy.
Yeah. Any normal person like us, a month or
Yeah.
4.
6.
Yeah.
Year and a half.
Yeah, year and a half.
So I've not played any of the Dead Space games before.
And no, neither have I.
So as a result, what we've done is you get a nice little previously on Dead Space video in the menu options. So we've stuck that at the start of our video to give you a bit of background on the current story of the games.
For anybody like us who hasn't played the game before,
It's a nice little taster, isn't
it's
it?
a nice little introduction to what the game's about, what's happened so far. A good idea would be to go back to Dead Space 1 and play it, but if you can't be bothered to do that,
Or if you don't have the time.
if you don't have the time, then just watch that little bit of video.
Yeah, we have played we're about 10 minutes into the first level here. So we're going to jump straight
We've
back
just
in.
skipped a little bit of the boring bits, a lot of walking about, a lot of dialogue.
A lot of story.
lot of
Don't
story.
want to avoid too much spoilers, you see.
Yeah.
Although, admittedly, it is the very start of the game, so there's going to be videos of this everywhere by now.
Yeah.
But
But so far,
Oh,
the
one button.
story idea is you have to go save your ex-girlfriend.
yeah, that's what we've got from what's happened so far, is that the government had her working for them. They lost communication with her, and now they've come to you to help find her.
Yeah, that's
Or
it. Yeah,
something.
and to be honest, she's finished with you, so she could just go to hell, sod her.
We are on casual, because I died almost instantly on normal.
So just for video purposes, we're gonna make it as easy for Ash as possible.
Always.
Yeah.
I am
We know
such
he's,
a bad shot.
he's very awful, and he's almost dead already.
Oh god, I am bad at shooter games.
Shoot the person, not the floor. That's only the idea. I'll shoot again.
Okay. So, the game does have... Oh, my inventory's full apparently. The game does have mouse and keyboard, and they are fully rebindable keys, so you don't have to worry about having to get used to using defaults, etc.
We haven't tested if it's gamepad compatible yet.
But we shall, and we shall pop an annotation if it is.
Yeah. One thing we want to look at quickly, which we're not fans of personally. Not sure if this is part of number 1 and 2, but is the inventory
Yeah,
and
so...
the fact that you can scroll around your character while in it.
Yeah, so usually inventories on games are mouse driven on PC. This one, however, your camera is still mouse driven. So I found that for a desktop anyway, you have to use the number pad to scroll through your inventory and to go through the different pages, which I'm not a fan of because I like mouse intensive menus.
And it's not going to be very good for laptop users.
Especially if you don't have a external keyboard.
Yeah. I don't know if any of the actual... No, they don't, do they? The actual
No.
numbers...
Oh, the numbers do. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 do the different pages. But as far as the actual...
scrolling through the inventory, you can't do it unless you have a number pad.
You can use the arrow keys.
Oh, right, okay.
You can use the arrow keys, but obviously it just means that you then have to come away from your mouse. Whereas it's a lot easier to keep your hands in the same place, I find, when playing a game.
Yeah. Don't get yourself confused,
Oh.
bless you, like that.
Yeah, pressing the wrong buttons and all
Yeah.
that.
But to be honest, if I'm in an inventory, I don't want to be scrolling and looking at my character.
No. The game's got the same art style it's always had, which is quite dark, quite tense.
Quite nasty.
Yeah, tried to keep you on your edge so that all the smallest of things give you a little bit of a jump scare and you panic.
Like Ash will, and
Yeah.
you'll experience that, I'm sure, as the game goes on.
I heard something.
have some girly screams going on, won't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh god. Unlike most survival horror games, which is what this is, the actual enemies as such aren't exactly slow
Quite swift.
and aren't exactly stupid like in most games.
Whereas most survival horror games are mainly based around zombies, aren't they?
Yeah, most survival horrors are shoot 'em ups more or less.
Yeah.
That's the way the genre seems to be going. It's less about surviving and having to scavenge for bits than it is
going around and just constantly shooting people. Just
Yeah.
constantly, just drive it more towards a Call of Duty non-stop action,
yeah.
just with zombies.
However, I am on casual, so that's why my inventory is full and why I have an abundance of ammo.
Yeah.
But obviously, there's 4 different difficulties. You've got casual, normal, hard, and impossible. So obviously, the higher up the difficulty scale you are, the harder the game is going to be for you to play.
Quite simply.
Yeah,
Bit like every game,
yeah,
really.
pretty much. It does handle quite well. The recoil on the weapons seems to feel nice enough. Doesn't
fling your character all over the screen,
No, it's not too much and it's not too little.
which is good.
Which is always a good thing.
Something we haven't mentioned is your health is depicted. Is that the right word?
Yeah,
Yeah,
depicted.
by the bar on his back.
Yeah, and your
the other
stasis.
tiny little semicircle there is his stasis.
However,
Yeah.
I believe that stasis. Oh god, that made me jump.
Is he holding a sausage or a turd? What is that?
I think it's a Twix.
Oh right, okay, it's a Twix.
The stasis doesn't seem to recharge unless you use a recharge point.
Yeah. Or a stasis recharge pack.
Yeah.
Your health, as usual, is medipacks. That obviously doesn't recharge. And as it gets lower, colours change, just so you know.
As if you didn't realise.
As if you didn't realise you were close to death anyway.
Mind you, I am really bad.
So you will see that.
Oh, but
Is that
see,
what you're saying?
yeah. And although it is a survival horror, as I was saying,
A minute ago.
it was a lot less actiony. It does chuck you straight into the fight right at the start.
Yeah. And if you're a really bad shot,
Like me,
yeah, it makes the game.
makes it a little bit harder. What the hell was that? Oh god, where did he come from?
It's a ninja. Jump down from the ceiling.
Oh god, there's 2 of them. Run.
Hit him.
You can sprint
Yeah, you can sprint. Yeah,
and you can dodge roll, which I believe was not in the other 2 games.
it's not a part of them. No, you can do the usual stamping. So if you're getting a bit frustrated and you want to take it out on someone,
Yeah, if you feel he's wronged you,
yeah, just stamp
Finish
on him
him
until
yeah, take that.
until there's nothing more of him.
There's nothing more satisfying than stamping on a dead body.
Yeah, in game obviously,
Yeah,
not
in-game.
not in real life, you know.
That's a bit harsh. Oh god! Where'd that bugger come from? That's
Oh,
alive.
bugger, where have you come from?
Still alive. Okay, we've got to take out both of his limbs. I didn't say that gun, or whatever.
It's dead. Anyway, don't worry about it.
You can hotkey 1 and 2 for your different weapons.
Which would save a lot of faffing.
Yeah. But obviously I was spamming 1 when I wanted my number 2. Oh god! How quick is
he's
he?
nippy, isn't he? Like Usain Bolt.
Like most of these games, once the action is ending, the music does generally tend to change.
Yeah.
Oh! Fudge.
Fudge. Yeah. It's quite nasty music, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's quite scary.
It helps keep the tension.
Tell me about it.
Because, as I've noticed so far, this game is excellent at creating tension and keeping you on your toes and bricking it.
Yes. It's a bit like an old Dino Crisis.
Yeah.
I remember loads of times I
Oh, what the hell?
absolutely
Oh, that was the arm.
crapped myself in Dino Crisis. Back in the good old days.
Yeah. So obviously it's a very good idea to roll around and make sure you look everywhere and do a little bit of exploration because you never know what you might find.
There's plenty of stuff to look for. With us being on easy, there's plenty of stuff to collect.
Yes. There's lots of ammo for us. But obviously for those veteran players and those who want more of a challenge, you best to jump straight in on something a little bit harder.
Yeah. But we're rubbish, so,
Yeah.
and we're not afraid to admit it.
No, I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to say, yes, I'm amazing at this game when I'm really not.
No.
So there are the odd puzzle. So here, it's not necessarily a puzzle. You know what you've got to do. You just got to use your
Kinesis. Yeah. Telekinesis.
Not that I'm doing it properly, but...
They're the little usual little things where you have to stop and think.
Yeah. It's always a nice little refreshing change from
Keep
action,
on your toes.
action.
Yeah. Which more and more games deciding they want to go with action, action, action. In your face.
Which is a bit
Really,
of a
really,
letdown,
really annoying to me.
Yeah. It's nice for a game in this genre.
To have a bit of both.
Yeah.
To have a little balance between.
It's got a nice balance. There's not too much of this and not too much of that.
Now, we are in chapter 1 though. It might change.
Yeah,
We're
true.
hoping it doesn't change too much because...
I would like a bit more jump scare though. Being a survival horror, I expected it to be a little bit more jump scary. There's only been a handful of jump scares so far.
There'll be plenty, I'm sure of that much.
Yeah, I don't
Plenty in
doubt
Dead
it.
Space 1 and...
You can change what kind of crosshair you have as well. You can have the classic style, like I've got now. Or, if I quickly swap,
Back to our huge settings
yeah, huge settings.
panel.
You can have it at the centre. I don't like this because it doesn't feel comfortable.
So is it? Yeah.
So now you're...
It's a bit of a
Yeah,
Resident
it doesn't...
Evil-esque.
Yeah, it doesn't show you where the bullets are actually going to go. It just centres the screen.
Yeah.
So you still have to look at the light. But I find having the dot for the laser sight on where the bullets are heading is so much easier, and it goes back to the other games. I'm just going to get
Just
in
get
here.
in there before you get mullered. Tell you a little bit of dialogue.
There's a lot of this.
See what...
It's put straight into the game, so it's not like it has to be a cutscene or whatever, and it doesn't have to interrupt the gameplay.
No.
Just like when you do have a cutscene, instead of it being obvious cutscenes, it fades out slowly, so that it then goes to...
Sort of just pans out.
Yeah, pans out from your character.
Just a little bit of a zoom out.
Which is a nice addition, I'd say, rather than just going...
Straight into a dodgy cutscene and then just out.
Yeah. It makes it feel like it's...
It's just one big flowing...
yeah, it's got...
Just one big flow.
Really am a bad shot.
You really are. I'd just smack him about a bit. There you go. Nudge him.
Yeah, it makes the gameplay flow a bit more. It doesn't feel so scripted.
Yeah.
It does admittedly feel a little bit more like you're playing a movie than playing a game as a result, but there's nothing wrong with that. At least the story comes across nicely.
As long as it's not hours and hours of cutscene, then you're fine. As long as it's
Yeah,
gameplay
there's-
orientated.
There's nothing worse than trying to play a game and half of it be cutscene. You don't actually get to do anything in the cutscene and bits like that. Come on, we can make it.
Come on, make it. Jump.
Jump.
One of those dramatic ending movie jumps.
Sadly, the jump isn't user controlled.
Isn't it?
No.
That's right. That's fine. You would have missed if it was.
Oh, more quick time. There are quick time events.
Yeah.
Everybody loves a good quick time event.
Yeah, including me. Yeah.
No.
'Cause I am generally really, really bad.
Yeah.
Really bad.
So there are quick time events, and they are. I think that's the third one I've seen so far, and they do make you jump. If you get grabbed by necromorphs, you have quick time events, etc.
Yeah.
So we've got another nice little cutscene to signal the end of chapter 1 and the start of chapter 2. We shall go through to the end so we can show you what we mean by the pan out, where it pans out.
Yeah.
This is mainly because the HUD is pretty much on your back, and it's less like permanently on the screen. So you don't have like icons in the corner and that make like clutter the screen.
Yeah.
That would randomly appear in most games when the cutscene vanishes.
Hmm.
See, so here, it's now panned out,
Straight back in.
and we're back into it.
Well,
The only
that-
thing that lets you know that you're back to controlling it is the way that you've got the big blue objectives panel that pops up.
Can't miss it.
Well, I hope you can't miss it.
If you do short-sighted.
Yeah. Or long-sighted, or
Yeah, whichever way round it is.
not necessarily.
And this little man in the corner here.
Yeah, this man here, Carver, I think it's Carver, when you play co-op, he is the second player. So,
You'll be getting used to this face.
yes. You will also like to note that in the co-op, when you have the two players, at certain points, because Isaac has dementia, there will be points where he is shooting at things, but the second player doesn't know what he's shooting at, because it's in Isaac's head.
Trippy.
Yeah, trippy stuff. Trippy stuff.
Trippy.
So, we are probably going to do some co-op. We'll probably have a let's look at some co-op as well as maybe a playthrough if it pulls us in.
Yeah, quite like the look of the game so far. So
Yeah, it's
I
very
enjoyed
nice
Dead
game.
Space 1 of what I played of it. So
It is a nice game so far.
and
I can't
it
fault
would be
it.
very fun just to watch you scream and cry.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
I'm not very good with horror games. They make me jump, and
You're a bit on edge, bless you.
but that's what it's meant to do. So hopefully they can keep the atmosphere and the tension and the jump scariness
Throughout the whole thing, yeah.
throughout the co-op as well as the single player.
Yeah.
Because it would be a shame if as a co-op, because you're with somebody else, it's got less kind of feel behind it.
Yeah. And not just have so much action, it's just like
In your
pounding
face.
it into your face, just like smashing your head against a desk.
Yeah, I know where you're coming from. But yeah, so that's all we've got time for our Let's Look At.
Yeah.
We'll leave it here so we don't do too many spoilers.
Yeah, don't get too far into the game. Because that's your job.
Yeah, that's your job.
It's for your enjoyment, not ours.
Yeah. And we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.